Hello. Today I'd like to share a story with you. My story, at least a part of it. A few weeks ago, I was having dinner with a friend who I've known for many years. We have a lot in common. Our children go to the same school, our boys play baseball together, and we're both single moms. We've gotten to know each other pretty well over the years, and at this particular dinner, she was talking about some of the challenges of being a single mom, especially raising a teenage son. I agreed that it's difficult, and I started talking about how challenging it was when my oldest son was younger and I was struggling to make ends meet, working full-time and going to school at night to get my bachelor's degree. And she just looked at me while I talked, and when I finished, she finally said, "I had no idea you went through all of that. I knew I liked you." And as I've thought about that conversation, I realized that she only knows the person I've been during the years that I've known her. I've never really shared a lot of my past with her. Over the years, I've sort of locked it away, maybe because I was embarrassed or felt like people would think less of me or judge me. Maybe because I like to keep my personal life private, or because I thought it didn't matter, or because a part of me preferred that people just assume that my life has happened on a straight line. But I've come to realize that while people might strive for and even admire those who have led a straight line life, if that even exists, our capacity for connections grows exponentially with the twists and turns that happen in our life. Let me explain. Like most people who know me, my friend knows certain facts or data points about me. She knows that I'm a lawyer, which is one data point. And to be a lawyer, I would have had to have gone to law school and college before that, which are two more data points. And to go to college, I would need to have a high school diploma, which is yet another data point. And when we have a series of data points, it's only natural to connect them with a straight line, either because we assume the best about people, or maybe because we're a little insecure about ourselves. We tend to think that other people live in an efficient straight line, setting and accomplishing their goals along the way. And some of us think that if we haven't done that, then we're doing something wrong. So we hide our data points, or at least some of them. But those data points that I mentioned, it's not that they're not there. It's just that there are only a few accomplishments that are visible to most people. They're just a few facts about me, a few data points on my lifeline. They don't tell the story in between the points, and they don't tell my whole story. Honestly, my line in between those visible data points is anything but straight. I grew up one of 10 children, worked hard, studied hard, and played sports. I graduated valedictorian from my high school and then went to college. And at that point, I felt like my lifeline was pretty straight. But then my line started to curve. For financial reasons, I had to leave college after 2 years. Then I got married, had a son, and eventually got divorced. At one point, I had 3 jobs trying to make ends meet as a single mom. But I still wanted that college degree. So I started taking some evening classes at a nearby college. I was eventually able to get a job there so I could take advantage of their free tuition benefit. And eventually, I was able to earn my degree and get a new job. And after a few years of working, I decided to take the LSAT, quit my job, and go to law school, which I did, still as a single mom. So those are more data points in my life, the ones that aren't visible to most people. And when you start to connect all of those points, you start to see my real lifeline, which is anything but straight. But like most people, my friend didn't know this. So she connected the dots that she knew with that efficient straight line. And I think most of us do the same thing. I know I do. Once I was having a conversation with a colleague, and I asked him where he graduated from high school. He turned to me and said that he didn't graduate from high school at all. He dropped out to start working and to start a family. Years later, he decided to get his GED, go to college, and then to law school. Like my friend was when I told her my story, I was stunned. I had filled in his story and connected the data points that I knew about him with a straight line. And in his case, I even assumed a data point, that he graduated from high school. But after he shared his true story, I didn't judge him like he might have feared, but I felt a deeper connection and respect for him. And I discovered that we actually had a similar life experience or connection, leaving school, starting a family, and then going back to earn our degrees. And as I continue to think about this, I really believe that there is power in the true story. When I see a movie trailer that says based on a true story, I immediately want to watch it because I know I'll learn something. I'll be able to relate to the challenges and connect with the characters. And I know that I'll be inspired. And in real life too, true stories are powerful. It's how we connect as humans. It's how we teach. It's how we learn. We share emotions. We can understand struggles. We can be inspired. And we might even see ourselves reflected in the other person's story, like I felt with my colleague or like my friend felt with me. Abraham Maslow, in his 1943 paper, A Theory of Human Motivation, explored a hierarchy of needs to explain human behavior. He believed that individuals' most basic needs must be met before they become motivated to achieve higher level needs. According to Maslow, humans possess a real need for a sense of belonging and acceptance among social groups, regardless of whether those groups are large or small. Looking at his hierarchy, he placed that social belonging and connectedness at the center, right above the basic physiological and safety needs. So feeling connected or a sense of community is the strongest psychological need that most people have. And in general, to progress up that hierarchy, a person must satisfy those lower level needs. Looking again at the pyramid, we see that the need for social belonging and community comes before the need for esteem or respect. So this means that we need those social connections before we can attain the next level of the pyramid, which includes respect and by extension, trust. As attorneys, it's important that we build that trust and respect with our clients. But at least according to Maslow, that trust and respect doesn't come until there is a connection. So how do we build those connections? Where do they come from? They come from those shared experiences. In other words, where our data points intersect. Of course, we can connect with people at our visible or obvious data points. All you need to do is watch a football game to see that there is a strong connection among alumni. The problem is that many, even most, of our data points are invisible to most people. So we're missing out on the opportunity to connect with so many more people. But as we reveal those data points, we can start to see our true line, what I'll call our connection capacity line. Because our capacity to connect with people is measured by all of those data points along the line. And as we navigate our line, or really our curve, we start to see where we intersect with other people's lines and lives. And if a straight line is the shortest, most efficient distance between 2 points, it only makes sense that a curved line that goes up and down will be longer and therefore will intersect the lines or data points of more people, meaning that we'll have more connections. So revealing those invisible data points in our life increases our connection capacity. It increases our ability to connect with others. And there are many benefits to sharing our true experiences. It helps us build those connections. Our experiences help us find common ground. We understand each other's values, perspectives, and challenges. And then it helps us build that trust. When you share a piece of yourself, you're being vulnerable. You're telling the other person that you trust them with your truth. And it also helps us learn and be inspired by each other. Learning about someone else's journey can help inform our own decisions. It even helps us learn from and be inspired by our own stories. Taking the time to look back and reflect allows us to understand our own journey, our place in the world, and learn from ourselves when we face new challenges. It also helps us unburden ourselves and allows us to be ourselves free from any secrecy. And finally, it helps us to be seen more authentically. If we don't tell our own story, people will fill in those gaps with what they think is our story. Of course, I'm not suggesting that we overshare or talk about ourselves all day, every day. That won't build any meaningful connections. But there are probably some key moments when sharing a part of our story and revealing some of those additional invisible data points can be very powerful, help us connect with people, and make a difference. Like when I shared my story with my friend, she immediately felt a stronger connection with me. So just remember, it's not always those visible data points that are so impressive. It's also the story that lies in between them. So whether by circumstance or by choice, if you find your lifeline curving, embrace it. It's increasing your capacity to connect. Learn through those curves, share them, be proud of them. Yes, some people might judge, but so many more will be supportive and feel a stronger connection with you. And be curious about the twists and turns and the invisible data points of other people. Try to find where your lines and lives connect. Chances are they intersect somewhere, like my colleague. And once you have that connection, respect, trust, and more meaningful relationships can follow. So that's a part of my lifeline. I hope it connects with you.